Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Ask Mevo Anything. My name is Joseph Pisani, and I am a technical specialist here with Mevo. And if you're not familiar with our shows, we do shows twice a week where we go online and answer our users' questions and comments about how they use the Mevo, or maybe some troubleshooting things they might have. Basically, any question you might have, we can answer today live on the show. So again, if this is your first time seeing us, we do shows twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can find us at Mevo Camera on YouTube, on Facebook, and now on Twitch. And then, of course, we also have a great recommendation referral program going on. So if you have a friend or family that might be interested in Mevo, if you're already a Mevo user, you can absolutely save your friends or family 5% on their Mevo purchase. And you can also earn a 5% commission on your end as well. That is mevo.com/referral. All right. Thank you for joining, everyone. Like I said, my name is Joseph Pisani. I am a technical specialist here at Mevo. And let me tell you a little bit about today's setup. So what we're doing today is a multicam setup. Everything you're seeing from me today will be coming using just the Mevo Multicam app and the Mevo cameras. So I'm not incorporating any type of outside broadcasting software like Streamlabs OBS or anything like that. We're not using any different modes like webcam mode or NDI mode. We are going straight Mevos to the Multicam app right to you. So that's the setup we have today. So let's go through some of the shots we have here. Let's get rid of this. So I have my main shot. This is going to be my my hero shot, my front shot right here. But then I also have an overhead shot coming from this camera right here. This Mevo is set up, I'd say about a little under a yard away from me, a little under 3 feet away from me. And then I also brought in a shot overhead on the tablet that I'm using. Excuse the glare. There's no way of avoiding it to get this done properly. But this is the Galaxy Tab S7, and that's what I am using to run my my Mevo Multicam application. And then, of course, we can walk through the app. So if you have any questions about the Multicam app today, please let me know. I'll be happy to go through any of the settings, anything that you want to know about that. And then today, we're also going to be talking about some different ways to run audio to the Multicam app. So if you're a fan of the show, if you watch us a lot, you know that if we're talking audio, I want to talk about it. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can put audio when you're using multiple different cameras. So of course, as a reminder, I want to just let everyone know, if you do have questions for me, if you do have questions for us, hop in the chat on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube at Mevo Camera, and you can ask us anything here. I'll be monitoring the chat, and I will also have some help on the back end monitoring as well. I believe we have Joe on the chat as well. So before I move any further about like setup and everything like that, let's take a look at what we're doing in the chat and see how it's going. All right. Great. So DJ Soundman from YouTube is saying hi. Hi. Hello. Fred the Hippo is here. Awesome to hear from you. Hello, Fred. Marshall is saying hello. Hello, Marshall. These are all on YouTube today. Jose put some type of emoji. I can't really tell. The screen's a little farther away from me. Bert saying hello. Looks like I'm just getting a lot of greetings today. I love it. Everyone is working hard for that giveaway. Yeah, that's something that we're definitely looking forward to doing. And if you don't know about the giveaway we started, if you're commenting and you're participating in these shows, we're looking to reward you for that. So we're actually going to be giving away a Mevo Start, and we'll spin the wheel. I'm not sure if we're doing it this week or next week. I have to double check. But those will be on Thursday shows, on the Mevo Live shows that we'll do that. So generally let's go back to the shows real quick. So today is Tuesday. We're doing Ask Mevo Anything. This is where we want to show you what you could do with just the Mevos and a device. On the Thursday shows, we usually incorporate some more things. So on the Thursday shows, we'll add in remote guests. We'll bring in different ways of getting Mevo into your stream, as far as using Streamlabs OBS or other software or other modes like NDI. We really get into that on our Thursday show. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays as well. Cool. All right. Any news on new multicam features? Can't wait to get more. John, I can't wait to get more either. I'm definitely looking forward to some of the new multicam updates. We've been talking about a lot of different things that we want to do with multicam on the back end. Definitely integrating some of the features from the Mevo 2.0 app into the multicam app is really the priority right now. But we definitely have some updates coming your way very, very soon. Okay. Fred the Hippo says, when using OBS and NDI mode with multiple Meevos, okay, I noticed slight delays between audio and video on the Meevos that are not wired to audio. Any ideas what that is? Okay. So Fred, that is audio. So you go audio going through one Mevo Start through the 3.5 millimeter. Okay. So what might be happening there, Fred, is you might need to reset your NDI input settings. For some reason, this does happen on OBS. I've experienced this myself, where I have an NDI input. I'm going 3.5. Everything should be synced up. But for some reason, when you bring NDI into OBS, the audio and video can sometimes drift. I don't really know why that is. That's actually probably a better question for Joe. But it does happen. So the solution I have seen is just going into that source setting and just resetting it, and then that should sync right back up. If it starts to drift a lot, I would definitely try submit a ticket, and I would submit a ticket at help.mevo.com, but make sure you include your logs so we can see anything that's going on there. But you also might want to reach out to NewTek because I have heard that before, and I've actually experienced that myself. So that could be just a characteristic of NDI right now. And just to be fair, NDI is still fairly new, and it's being used more and more every day. So that's something that's just like the Mevo is just constantly getting updated. So cool. All right. Leo says, will you take the question on the 2.5 setup, or are you just multicam questions? If you have a 2.5 setup, I'm absolutely happy to answer that for you. I have no problem doing that. So ask away. And if I can show you in the app, I will. I might just have to set up a different camera, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Tim is saying hi. Hi, Tim. How you doing? Jeff, hi. How are you? John says, kudos to Cade. Tried the suggestion to reinstall the app and now have the multicam working great. Tab A7. Okay, great. So what John is saying, John is chiming in from our Twitch account. So he's saying he just uninstalled, reinstalled the app, and it works better on his Tab A7. I don't mean to speak ill of any tablets or anything like that, but the Tab A7 is a tablet that does incur a lot of hiccups just because the processing power on that tablet really isn't that strong. Especially if you're using multicam. I mean, you got to think if you're pulling in 3 1080 feeds onto your tablet, your tablet needs to be able to process all of that data. So if it works great now, great. I mean, I'm glad you have a solution. I mean, even just resetting the tablet, rebooting it probably would have done the same thing. But if you are going to be doing something like this professionally, or if you're going to be doing more intricate streams or more often, you might want to look at getting a more updated tablet. Okay, Fred the Hippo says, is there a way to set a focus point on the Mevo Start? Okay, great question, Fred. I love that question. So the way the Mevo Start works is it's a fixed focal point. So what you want to do is you want to have the Mevo, when it's fully, zoomed in, or zoomed out, I should say, you want to have your widest shot be in the frame of your Mevo. Okay, so if you're doing a stage and you have, guitar left, guitar right, you want those shots to be right at the edges of the frame. And this will basically is a good guideline just to give you the depth that you need to get a clear shot. Generally between 5 and 15 feet from a subject is where we want the Mevo. Right now, the camera I'm speaking into here is actually a little closer. It's about 2.5 feet away. But if I were to switch over to my other angle here, this one's a little bit further away, but I'm still in focus, right? So I'm still within that depth of field right there. Cool. Thank you for that. But to answer your question, there is no manual focus on the Start. Okay, and the next giveaway is Thursday. That's right, it is Thursday. Time flies when you're having fun here at Mevo. Let's see. It hasn't broken again, so here's hoping. John from Twitch is saying, so I'm guessing the A7. So yeah, I mean, if it works great. Use it for sure. I mean, it is a good tablet. It's just when you start getting into a little bit more advanced features, high-end, high HD video, just the processing power can sometimes lag. Double check the RAM too. I definitely recommend having 3 gigs of RAM if you're using the multicam app, minimum. More is obviously better. Okay, can you use different platforms like StreamYard with the Mevo or only the app? This is from Alex on Facebook. Thank you for that question, Alex, and absolutely. So you can hook up the Mevo to a computer. You can use webcam mode, either wired or wirelessly. And you can also use a feature called NDI to bring your camera in as an input and audio input. StreamYard will accept all of these inputs. So if you are using StreamYard, you can absolutely do so. A couple of things to know. If you're using a wired webcam connection, then you're going to want your stream will be limited to 720p. I don't know if StreamYard even lets you stream in 1080. You'd have to check with them. But if they do let you stream in 1080 and you want to get that full resolution, I would suggest using the wireless webcam application. So you can find that at mevo.com/webcam, and you should see it pop up there. And that's for Windows and Mac computers. So with those two options, they'll basically turn your Mevo into a video source that you can select inside of StreamYard. Okay, cool. All right, Jose's chiming in. Hello, Jose. I'm still having issues with frozen images when I do NDI via Wi-Fi. Today we restarted the Mevo and Wirecast can't connect to it. Any ideas what's going on? Well, based off of what you're saying in your question, it sounds like there's some networking issues. What I would do is double check your network, maybe restart your router, especially if it worked before and now it's not working. Double check your speeds. I mean, generally we say you want at least 10 megabytes per second upload speed when you're streaming. If you're not getting that, you might not have the bandwidth to run all the cameras on the network. So chances are that is a network issue. And honestly, because the image is freezing in NDI, with that, I would have to say, is it freezing in the app? Are you using NDI in Wirecast? Is it freezing in Wirecast? Because if you don't see it freezing in Wirecast, you don't see it freezing on the application itself in the 2.0 app, chances are it might just be freezing on the stream. So you might want to check your network strength there. Cool. All right, DJ Soundman. Wow, questions are flying in. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. DJ Soundman, I'm using 6 GoPros, 8 black on Wi-Fi exterior setup on RTMP servers, and I have issues of sync with the setup. Well, that sounds like you would. How many Mevo can we use in sync and replace my setup? Okay. All right, Soundman. So you're looking at 6 GoPros, GoPro Heroes, 8 black on. I don't know what you're saying there. Are you using 14 GoPros? That'd be crazy. So yeah, if you're using sync, if sync is an issue, chances are you're using different audio sources with the different cameras. This is just a matter of just going through troubleshooting for each of these cameras. With the Mevo, I would set that up using a Streamlabs OBS or an OBS system. You can hook up as many NDI puts as you want. I don't think there is a limit to that. Maybe Joe can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. I don't believe there is. So you can do it that way and go wirelessly or through Ethernet and have a ton of Mevos connected to one OBS feed. So that would be the way to do it. All right. Alex says, you may have already answered this. No problem. Can you stream to multiple platforms at the same time with the Mevo app? So yes, you can with the Mevo 2.0 app. No, you cannot. Actually, that's not true. It depends. So if you are streaming, if you are a Vimeo producer or Vimeo Premium subscriber, you can use Vimeo to restream your events, your live events, and they can redistribute to multiple destinations. If you don't have a Vimeo account, you would definitely need to stream to something else. So for example, using something like Restream.io, that's kind of how I'm doing things today. What I'm doing is I'm streaming from the Multicam app to an RTMP destination, which is Restream. And then Restream is then distributing that. Most of the Restream platforms you're going to have to pay for. Usually there's some type of monthly subscription, but it makes sense because they're handling your stream for you, right? So they're distributing it and they're taking on all that bandwidth. So that would be the way to do it. You can do it directly from the Mevo 2.0 app. If you're using Multicam app, you do RTMP to either Vimeo or Restream or wherever you might want to go. Great. Okay. Wow, we got a lot of questions coming in. Sweet. Okay, this is from Marshall. I'm just getting started with streaming. What is NDI? Oh, great. So this is a great question. You know, we kind of throw acronyms around here a little bit. Sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. NDI is developed from NewTek. It is a feature that will transmit wired or wirelessly through Ethernet your audio video feed. What does that do for you? The Mevo has the Mevo Start, let me be clear. The Mevo Start has an NDI mode built in where you can turn that function on, and then you can send that camera feed to any other thing that takes an NDI input. So a lot of people will use this in their Streamlabs OBS to get different angles and have a wireless connection if they want to do their own little show. So you can absolutely do that using NDI. Now on today's show, I have different angles, but I'm actually not using that. I'm using the Mevo Multicam app. So this is an app that you can download that you can use multiple Mevos with as well. And you don't need NDI. You can do it through here. But that's what NDI is. It's just another way to send audio, video from your camera or source. Cool. Oh, wow. All right. Okay. Catching up, guys. Sorry. Okay. Jeff says, is there a special setup for going live on YouTube? So far, I've only done Facebook Lives, but I'm thinking of doing both now. Yes. Jeff, this is a great question. So if you have less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can't stream to YouTube directly from the Mevo app, okay? This is a restriction from YouTube for mobile streaming, which the Mevo is considered a mobile streaming device because you can take it anywhere. But you can stream via RTMP. So we have a great help article at help.mevo.com. I'm sure someone can link that in the chat as well. But if you just type in YouTube, it'll be one of the first articles that pop up, and it'll say stream to YouTube Live, and it'll break down the different ways you can do it. If you're going through RTMP, you can absolutely do that, and go through Facebook at the same time using the multiple destinations. If you have, as we spoke before, a Vimeo account or some type of other multi-destination restreaming account set up. But yes, you can absolutely stream to YouTube. Cool. Leo, question in 3 parts. Thanks for the support. I'm now able to get Mevo on hotspot. Fantastic, Leo. I appreciate that you were able to get it done. Awesome. About to control the camera and use graphics. I need to have a second device to control the camera on my iPhone. Will it only be used for hotspot? Okay. So, Leo, we might be... How do I connect all 3? iPhone, iPad, Mevo Start. Okay. Let me just go back through this. But to control the camera and use graphics, I need to have a second device. Not true. So if you're in hotspot mode and you're using the Mevo hotspot mode, so this is not connecting to your phone's mobile hotspot. It's a little confusing. It's kind of backwards. So the Mevo will put out a Wi-Fi signal or a hotspot signal. The phone will then connect to that signal. So you're actually connecting your phone to the Mevo. Or tablet, whatever you're using. When you do this, it'll use the phone's LTE data for your stream. It won't use the phone's mobile hotspot data. So this is where there's a common confusion point. So if you are streaming using the mobile hotspot, using the Mevo hotspot, you have full control over what's happening in the stream. So you can absolutely bring in graphics on that same device. You can, as long as they're saved in the photos folder of that device. Now, if you are trying to use a separate device as a control, then all right, I see. Then you would have to basically do what you're saying. So then you would have to set the iPhone up to broadcast its own mobile hotspot, and then you would have to connect the Mevo to that, and then the iPad to that, and then that'll be the same thing as if you were connecting to any Wi-Fi in general. Now, the only issue there is you are using your data plan's mobile data. So there could be limitations. You could be throttled. Whereas if you have unlimited data using LTE, you're probably better off doing that. So hopefully that made sense with hotspot mode. I know it can get a little confusing when it's the device's hotspot and the Mevo hotspot. Okay. All right. Where did you go? Cool. All right. So Randy watching from Winnipeg, Canada. Awesome. I love Canada. I've frequented a couple of places in Canada and I've never not had a good time. See, how do I connect all 3? We covered that. We are getting ready to mount our Mevo Plus from our sanctuary ceiling. Any advice you could give? This is coming from Kenny on Facebook. Yes. So the Mevo has a, I have to double check. Correct me if I'm wrong if this is not in the Plus. I'm pretty sure it is though. So the Mevo has the option to where you can turn it off or on using the USB cable. So if you are having to mount the Mevo in a high spot area and you don't want to climb up to turn it on or off, there's a feature in the Mevo settings where you can power it on or off by the USB connection. So what that means is you can have your Mevo connected with the USB cable hanging down, and then when you plug that USB cable into a power outlet, it'll send a signal to the Mevo turning it on. When you unplug it, the Mevo, after 15 minutes of inactivity, so not being connected, just sitting there, it'll actually turn itself off. So it's a good way to have the Mevo in a separate spot that you can't reach, but you can still control its functions and turn it on and off. So that would be the suggestion I would have for you. Obviously, it depends on how far away it is, how high it is, and how far away you can run your USB. Generally, USB cables run about 15 feet. So usually you can get 15 feet away if you're doing it that way. Great. Cool. John says, we have a ticket open for the A7 since it meets the minimum specs for Mevo Multicam. It does. The reinstall worked, but CPU wasn't at all straining. Okay, so if the CPU is not straining and the reset worked, it might have just been the cache just might have been bogged down. I mean, that's possible too. So thanks for the update on that. Cool. All right. We can hear your creaking chair. Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to move, guys. I really am, but it's just the loudest chair ever. And unfortunately, I don't have a replacement at this time. All right. Fred the Hippo has some feature requests coming in. He's saying feature requests making OBS scenes, I guess OBS style scenes in Multicam. That's something that we have heard before. I love the idea. I think it'd be great. So you can just one click into certain things. That'd be fantastic. Can we use the Mevo to stream through Propresenter? So I get this question a lot. I don't have experience with Propresenter, but as far as I know, Propresenter just uses either RTMP or it uses webcam input through a computer. So either one of those, you should absolutely be able to use the Mevo. So I'd have to do a little bit more research on Propresenter. What I would do is just, maybe just double check with them, and if they can take RTMP, then you're good to go. All right, Alex says, thanks, you awesome, great. Ben coming in, replying to Kenny. What's he saying? We have our setup this way. I'm going to extra effort to hardwire the Mevo Ethernet adapter. Cool. So what Ben is suggesting, this is going back to if you're mounting your Mevo in a different area somewhere, he's recommending do it through the Ethernet adapter. You could turn it on and off remotely. Absolutely. You can provide power to it. Absolutely. And actually you can get a little bit more distance out of it as well because the Ethernet can run a little bit further. So that's actually good advice. Thanks for that, Ben. All right, John on Twitch is saying, are there planned improvements for SD card management? A bit difficult to bulk delete recordings. Is it difficult to bulk delete recordings? To be honest with you, I don't know how difficult it is. I'm pretty sure it's just clicking a button and delete. I guess you have to do them individually. It's a great, it's a great thought. I mean, definitely having some different SD card management options is beneficial, especially if you want to do like folders, bulk deleting, bulk selecting, that kind of stuff. I think that's great feedback, and the developers definitely watch these shows, so they'll hear it. Let's see here. Joe's chiming in. He's saying, well, you could always just format your card to clear it. That's absolutely true too. So if everything needs to go on the card, simply just format the card, which you could do from inside the Mevo app. Cool. And Jose is saying Wirecast. I don't have experience on Wirecast, but I have no reason to believe it doesn't work with the normal input settings, right? NDI, webcam, RTMP. I'm almost positive Wirecast uses all of those. Can you use a Chromebook to run the Mevo 2.0 app? Kathy, this is a great question. No, not right now, because the Mevo 2.0 app is for Android and iOS. It doesn't work on Chrome OS, which is a little different than Android. Some of the Chromebooks do actually have Android on them, but they're the Chrome version of Android. There's subtle differences that just make the Mevo not work in some cases. So I would definitely stick with a PC or a Mac if you're going to use those features. Okay, Kenny's saying he already uses the Ethernet adapter. Great, good. Let's see, Fred the Hippo, when are the Multicam coming soon features on the website actually coming to Multicam? Well, Fred, the answer to that would be soon. It just takes a while to develop it and get it right. And we don't want to release stuff that's not finished. So we want to make sure that we're covering everything we need to cover and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's on that kind of stuff. But thanks for pushing us, because honestly, we need that. We need our users to keep suggesting things, keep pushing innovation. Otherwise, that's when you get stale, right? The chair creaking, yeah. All right, got some side conversations going. Oh, Jose is coming. Oh, so he's chiming in on his upload speeds with his NDI issues. So he has 23 upload, 200 down. I mean, 23 should be okay. You shouldn't really have issues with that. So maybe it's a bandwidth thing. Try resetting your router. See how that goes. Okay, Raymond is saying, when the Mevo Start is flipped upside down, why am I having lighting issues? Well, I'm going to need more information on that. What I would do if you're having those types of issues, Raymond, is This is Raymond on Facebook. Open up a ticket with us at help.mevo.com. Maybe send some pictures, some video examples so we can kind of see what you're looking at. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but we just got to figure out what that is. Daryl is on Facebook saying, hi, new to the Mevo game. Welcome, welcome. I have Vimeo Producer to stream to multiple destinations. However, can I stream using multiple Mevo cameras? Pastor Daryl. So this is a great question, and it's a little more intricate than we may think. You can stream to multiple destinations using the Mevo 2.0 app. You can't stream to multiple destinations using the Multicam app unless you stream to Vimeo and then redistribute from there. So if you already have the Vimeo account, you can absolutely take advantage of the multi-destination streaming, but you'd have to go RTMP or through the Vimeo API to Vimeo first and then redistribute from a computer if you're using the Multicam app. If you're using the Mevo 2.0 app, you could do it directly from the camera itself. So that's just one of those subtle things that are just a little bit different between the two apps. They just function a little differently. Okay. All right, so Wolfgang is saying, greetings. Have you already set the camera to NDI5, or is that necessary for NDI bridge or remote? The current software right now is compatible with NDI5, but NDI bridge I don't think is something that we have tested or tried out yet. I don't even think it's ready yet. And for remote, I haven't played with any type of NDI remote. So that's something that we're going to have to wait and see on until we get some more tests done with the new NDI features. All right. Marshall says use the Multicam app. Okay. DJ Sandman. So I could use 10 Mevo in sync on Wi-Fi setup with no drifting or sync issues. Only one cam is taking the audio and the others are for video angles. Yes and no. So you wouldn't be able to do it using the wireless webcam because you can only have one instance of wireless webcam. If you're using the one camera for audio sync, you just might have to mess with some settings in Streamlabs OBS or whatever program you're using, just to make sure those sync settings are right. So for example, in OBS, there is a filter that you could put on the video feed to delay it, so in case the audio is ahead of it, so you can sync that together. You might have to just take some time and really go through all the sync settings. But once you set it, you should be able to just set it and forget it, and you should be good to go with that. So thank you for that. That sounds like a crazy setup. If you do set it up, send us a video because that would be awesome. And Joe's chiming in on that too, and he's saying if you're using NDI, you should use Ethernet. Yeah, if you are using NDI and you have that many cameras and you can set it up and you have a switch strong enough or big enough that can have that many inputs, go Ethernet, because then it just rules out any questionable Wi-Fi issues, right? So you're hardwired connected, you're going to have the most stability, the most reliability. So if you can go Ethernet, we always recommend to go Ethernet. Okay, Fred the Hippo, coming back. Any suggestions to get my stream from Multicam or OBS onto a house TV without opening the stream on that TV to avoid delay? We get this question a lot, Fred, and there really isn't a way to get like an analog direct line to the TV. The best thing I can suggest would be to have the Meevos go to Streamlabs or OBS or whatever you're using inside your computer and just go HDMI to the TV. And you could just do preview out, or if you have a wireless screen sharing application, you can do something like that too. That's honestly the workaround for that, just because there is no hard analog video out that we can use. So there's always going to be a delay. So just to make sure it matches what you're seeing on your computer, though, if you're distributing that feed, you should be good with that. All right. Let's see. Mr. Flex is coming in. I do over 10 hours of streams sometimes, and when the services bar goes down by like one cam, goes to buffer mode. I mean, that makes sense. It depends on your service and how you're using it. So if you're saying the service bar is going down, that means you're using the hotspot mode and using a cellular device to get your network going. Double check your network. Check your speeds. Are they low? Are they high? What's the strength? We recommend 10 megabytes per second as a minimum. I know we say that a lot, but if you could get more, use more. Obviously, you want the best network you can. I would have to say that if you're doing it mobile hotspot and you're streaming for 10 hours, I'm not. It doesn't surprise me that some things buffer or some things get hiccuped, especially if you're on LTE, because now you're relying on your tower and the strength of the network in the tower, and nothing has more interference than an LTE tower, right? Because it's different networks accessing it. There's millions of people accessing it. There's handoffs happening all the time. So if you can get Wi-Fi or Ethernet, I mean, that would definitely solve that. But thank you for that question. All right, we are cooking here. We are cooking. We got a lot going on. All right, I'm going to give my voice a break a second and just tell you guys about some things that we have going on. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are a Mevo customer and you want to spread some of that Mevo love, you can absolutely recommend to a friend or family that they visit mevo.com/referral. And they can save 5% on their purchase, which is great right now, especially if you're doing something like the 3-pack or something like that. And you'll get a 5% commission on your end too. So if you're someone that does do streams, you're someone that does use the Mevo and you want to promote it, you can create your own custom code and go to mevo.com/referral to take care of that. And as I mentioned, we also have the Mevo Start 3-pack available now. This is great for all those multicam users. So now with this, you're getting 3 Mevo for I think it's almost like buy 2 get 1 half off or get 1 free or something like that with the way it works out with the pricing. So it's a great deal. It's a great value. And especially if you're watching this show and you have 1 Mevo, chances are you're itching for another one. Because I know when I got these, I wanted as many as I can get my hands on. And of course, today's Tuesday, Ask Mevo Anything. So obviously, everyone knows that already. I'm getting a lot of questions coming in. We'll get right back to those. But we also have our Thursday show, which is Mevo Live at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's at Mevo Camera on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All right. Cool. All right, so we've got the housekeeping out of the way there. Let's dive right back into questions and see what we have. All right. Greetings. India 5. Great. Losing my spot. Fantastic. Got that. 10 hours of streaming. All right. Joshua says, Joseph, thank you for answering my questions today. Does the audio output function when connected through NDI? Oh, does the audio output function when connected through NDI and while streaming? Absolutely. So if you are sending your signal via NDI to a broadcasting software on your computer, the NDI signal or the NDI virtual input will bring in both audio and video. All right, Mr. Flex, it should just go into lower quality image instead of buffer. It depends, Mr. Flex. It depends. It depends on the network. So you're right. It should drop. It should drop the image quality. But if the signal is really low, then yeah, you're going to run into interruptions. So it really just depends on what you're getting in that area. Especially if you're moving around, if you're using LTE and you're mobile or you're going to different locations, you just got to test to make sure you have the best signal. Okay. Ambrosia, am I saying this right? Ambrosia says, I have a question. Mevo was acquired by Logitech. Is that right? Yes. So Logitech, if you go to mevo.com, you'll see Logi plastered all over the website. So we are pretty excited to be a part of the Logitech ecosystem right now. If you're not familiar, Logitech, I mean, if you're at a computer and you look down, chances are you might have a Logitech keyboard sitting in front of you. So Logitech specializes in all that type of stuff: keyboards, headsets, mice, Bluetooth connections, mounting devices, lights. They kind of have their hands in everything, especially when it comes to the streaming world, right? So us being with them just seemed like a perfect fit, and hopefully we can integrate with their ecosystem and maybe even bring in some of their technologies into the Mevo ecosystem as well. So I'm pretty excited about it. Check out mevo.com. You can check the website and see all about it. So thanks for that question. Mark says, I love my Mevo cams. I have 7 of them for my studio. That's awesome. I need to learn how to use the graphics. Cool. Let's do a quick demo. So let's hop over into my tablet here. And again, I apologize for the glares. It's just the way the room is set up right now. Okay. So in the Mevo Multicam app, I have already preloaded some of these graphics. So these are PNG files, and then I can select any of these. And whenever I select one, it'll pop up on the feed. So that's what you're seeing now. To uncheck it, you simply just click it again. So you can kind of see that on the delay there. So you can do a couple of different graphics. So if I want to add a new graphic, let me go back for a second. There's a plus sign, blue plus sign on the bottom here. You go into your graphics, and then you can choose from a variety of graphics. You have the full screen overlay, which is obviously going to be your full framed graphic. You have your lower third, which is where you saw earlier, where my name and title. Over the shoulder, so if you want to do something over the shoulder, I can give you an example of that. So let's say I want to get into, let's go back. something like this, and I'm answering questions right now. And then if I go back to my feed, now I have my over-the-shoulder, is it this side? Yeah, it's this side, graphics set up. So if you go to help.mevo.com, we have a bunch of great articles on how to actually set all these graphics up. Literally, if you just do in the search bar, just put graphics and you'll see them all pop up. But yeah, pretty easily done right there. Okay. Mr. Flex has the S21 Ultra. That's a great phone. Ben Beckner says Propresenter. Oh, that's why he's saying. Okay. Ben Beckner coming up, following up, Propresenter utilizes NDI. So for the Propresenter question earlier, you can absolutely connect via NDI. That's great. Good to know. Alex says, my last question is, do the Mevo cameras zoom in and out, or do you need an additional equipment to do that? I think that's a great question. Let's take a look. So let's go to our wide shot over here. And I'm going to go into my Mevo settings, and I'm going to go to my crop and zoom. And so here, I can zoom in. And click done. And now that shot's going to be more zoomed in there. So you can absolutely crop and zoom using both the Mevo apps, whether it be the Multicam app or the Mevo 2.0 app. Great. Okay. ETA on NDI inputs. That's a good question. I don't have an ETA on NDI inputs right now, but it would be pretty cool. Anything on pictures on where we can get... I'm sorry. I'm trying to read these as fast as I can. So anything on pictures on where we can get place or resize it on the screen. So, Mr. Flex, the answer to that question is kind of no, because the graphics are preset locations on the screen. So if you're doing a lower third, something like this, it's always going to be there. Here. If you're doing a full screen, obviously it's full screen. Over the shoulder is over the shoulder. Now, you can do custom graphics, and if you create transparent PNG files, you can kind of resize things however you want. So if you want something that's in the middle of the screen, or if you want something that's over maybe a little bit higher to the right, you won't be able to adjust that in the application. But if you create the graphic that way initially, then that's what will be represented on the screen. So there are workarounds for that. Okay. Let's see here. I have no idea what you mean by using an Android. Okay, so Marshall's asking what about using an Android emulator on a desktop in order to do it on a computer? Honestly, you'd have to try it. I've never tried it. We've never tested it. We've never really attempted it. But if you can get Android to run on the computer, and it does run all Android apps, I don't see why that wouldn't work. But you may not get the functionality controls, the zoom in, the crop. You may not get the autopilot features functioning correctly. So, I mean, you're certainly welcome to try it. Let us know if it works out. Soon is purposely vague. Yes, John, I know, but I don't have a answer for you. But soon is sooner than later. Fred the Hippo, any open spots on the Mevo team? Well, I mean, I don't know. You could apply and see what happens. John says, it would be great if the Mevo can trust consumers more to disclose real-time lines. I'm shocked to see the amount of hate on Facebook. I mean, all right, so you want to say disclose more real timelines. Well, I mean, disclosing real timelines on app development is kind of hard to do, right? Because you don't know what's wrong until you test the app and find out this thing's wrong. I mean, you can make an app as perfect as you want, but there might be bugs. So, I mean, that is just a process that just takes time. And, you know, unfortunately, if people don't want to wait, then it is what it is. Can you use the Multicam app with 2 individually purchased Mevo cameras? Yeah, of course. Kathy, it's a great question. So the Multicam app, you don't need to have the 3-pack, right? It'll work with Mevo Starts. It'll work with Mevo Pluses. You can mix and match. So any 3 Mevo cameras, you can absolutely use in the Multicam app. Thank you, Kathy, for that question. Getting us back on track here. I love it. John says, oh, he's giving us credit. We try hard. We do. We do. And also, you know, to John's point on Twitch, you know, this is why we do these live shows, right? Because we want to hear what our users want. We want to hear what you guys are having trouble with, what you guys, what solutions you guys may have. So keep the information coming. Okay, cool. Let me just see here. Getting a message from Joe. He's going to give me some support. I love it. Cool. All right. Let's see what else here. That answers my question. Got it. Is Logitech helping to get some cool features products to Mevo? Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to integrate, right? So we want to be able to give our users different solutions that maybe they didn't have before. Will there ever be a countdown overlay in the Multicam app? Ryan, it's a great question. It's definitely something that's on our list. It's definitely not the first time we've heard it. And of course, we have it on the 2.0 app. So it's definitely something we want to get in the Multicam app soon. It's just a matter of when we're able to do it. But I appreciate that question. Fred is coming in. He's saying, what are the problems with allowing more than 3 Mevo in Multicam? Why hasn't that feature come out yet? Well, that's not really a feature. It's more of a limitation. But at this time, we're sticking with 3. I'm sure down the line, as the Multicam app develops, we can probably open that up. But keep in mind, you know, let's go back to that question of the A7 tablet earlier, right? So if people are having troubles on devices now with 3 cameras, you know, and then you want to add in more cameras, now you're going to have to add in a stronger device, and you're going to have to build up your production from there. So it's definitely a possibility. It's definitely something we want to do. But for now, we're sticking with 3. Okay. Marshall says, we are going to stream a podcast. How do we get audio from the mics to run through the app so they get sound from the mics, not the cameras? Marshall, it's like you were sent here for me today. So that's actually one of the things I was planning on talking about today was how to run different audio to the Multicam. So let me briefly run through it. Let's go to my app here and let's get rid of this graphic. Let's get rid of that. So what you're hearing and seeing now is you have 3 different Mevos connected, right? So there's 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. The audio you're hearing from me is coming directly from this microphone right here. So this is the Bluebird. This microphone is actually being routed to a mixer, which is to my left. That mixer has a stereo 3.5 millimeter cable running to the back of this Mevo. So this Mevo, my front Mevo, this camera is the one that's running all of my audio for all of the Mevos. So if we go back into the app, I can actually change that. So for example, if I go to the Mevo, let's see, DW6 here in the middle, and let me make sure I'm monitoring myself. Now, you probably noticed the sound quality of my voice changed. So what's happening now is this Mevo, which is the one that's shooting the tablet, is actually connected through my the remote through the Mevo mic app remotely. So now my voice is actually coming through my phone back into the stream. Now let's say I want to use the Mevo internal microphones. So now what I'm using is the Mevo internal microphones from the camera up here, my wide shot, and that's being used for no matter what shot I'm on, right? So if I'm here or if I'm here, I'm still using the same audio. Okay, so now I've turned the blue microphone on, and we're going to stick with that for the remainder. But that's just a way you can see how you can use different mic sources, you can use different mic inputs. Best practice here, set this up before you get into the Multicam app, right? So go into your Mevo 2.0 app on each individual camera and make sure it's set up the way you want. The reason why I mention that is because it is possible to have 2 different sources going at once. So for example, if I'm using the Bluetooth, if I'm using the remote mic app, but I also have the Mevo internal mics clicked on, you're going to hear both. So make sure if you go into your Mevo 2.0 audio settings, if you go to help.mevo.com, there's a great article there, Mevo 2.0 audio. Just do a search for that. You'll see it. It'll break it down for you on how to adjust all of those settings. So I do appreciate that, but that's how you would do it. So basically, if you have a mixer, all your mics go into the mixer, straight to one of the Meevos, and then you can use all of the Mevo video feeds with one audio source. All right, Joshua says, what is the optimal bandwidth when using the Mevo Multicam? Example, 2 Mevos and while using the 3-pack. I mean, really, you just want to, like, let's see, what am I doing right now? So right now, my stream quality right now is floating around 5.8 megabytes per second, and that's coming directly from the Multicam app. So it doesn't really matter that I'm using 3 cameras. It's just running through the app, and the app's taking care of all of the processing. But you want to have at least 10 megabytes upload speed. I mean, as far as your bit rate, 6 megabytes per second on 1080. I think it's 4 megabytes per second on 720, or 2 megabytes per second on 720. I'll tell you what, we have a great article on this. If you go to help.mevo.com, or maybe we can link it in the comments. It is help.mevo.com, and then do the search for bit rate, and you'll see a whole article that really breaks down depending on what quality you're streaming at and what bit rate works for that. So thanks for that question. Jose says, can I use a USB-C network adapter to connect the Mevo NDI via wire, or had to be the original adapter? So with this, you're going to have to just see. We recommend using the Mevo PoE adapter just because we know it works. It's been tested. We developed it. Other adapters should work in connecting Ethernet to your Mevo. Be sure if you're using just a non-powered adapter or something like... So if you're using just something like this, you're going to need power for that most likely. So you would have to get a PoE switch to make sure that there's power running through it. But then other than that, yeah, you should be able to use those. Maybe test something out and let us know what works for you. Okay. All right. So Fred the Hippos, I mean, we got a lot of questions coming today. I really appreciate all the questions today. Fred the Hippo says, my multicam audio levels aren't even on the right and left channels. How can I fix this on my mixer? That's where I assume the problem is originating from, audio going from the mixer to interface to 3.5. Fred, maybe open up a ticket with us so we can take a look at that. Maybe send us some pictures of videos of what you're doing. When you say it's not on the left and right channels, are you talking about inside the Mevo app, or are you talking about on your actual mixer? Because then there's 2 different scenarios there. So maybe open up a ticket. We can dive a little bit deeper into that one. Tyler says, what about losing connection? I know it will try to reconnect for 30 seconds and it stops recording or streaming. Any future possibility to have it continue recording even though it doesn't reconnect? This is a great question. Thank you, Tyler, for asking this. There's a reason. Okay, so the reason why it doesn't continue to record when the stream ends is because let's say you end your stream and then you just leave, right? Let's say you end your stream and the Mevo is recording. There's no... unless you go in to manually stop the recording, there would be no way to stop that, right? So we connected the 2. So this way, if the stream does drop, you're not missing out on anything. Now, if you do notice your stream dropping, you can quickly kick the recording back on and restart it after it disconnects. Unfortunately, I know it's not ideal, but if we left it where you can just always record and it just stays on recording even after the streams end, you're going to run into a lot of people just overloading their memory cards and not really realizing what's going on. But I understand the want for it, though, to have that backup recording. So you just have to do it manually. Okay. Leo says, I'm sorry, go to James first. How does NDI compare to other cameras? How much slower? It's not really a matter of slowness with NDI. It's just a different way of sending the video and audio to a specific source. So it shouldn't really matter as far as speed for any reason. Leo says, your customer service is great. Thank you. I submitted a ticket last night and got a very helpful answer this morning. Well, Leo, thank you. We appreciate it. We try. Obviously, we don't have all the answers for every problem possible. A lot of the times the problem may lie in the network. And if we don't have access to that, or we don't know, what you're dealing with, I mean, there's a million reasons why. But I appreciate it. And I'm happy you had good service. So thanks for letting us know. Fred the Hippo says, I agree. Thanks, Fred. Fred's always got our back. All right. Tracy Bond. So I have 6 Mevos. Can I go live on Facebook? Oh, hold on. Can I go live on Facebook and YouTube with two devices at the same time? Yes, to different pages. It wouldn't be to the same feed. So sure, yeah, it would be the same thing as just having just 2 completely separate productions going on. But yeah, you can absolutely do it. Kathy says, does the Mevo, does Mevo VXR1 microphone work well on the Mevo camera? Kathy, I don't know. Let me take a look briefly, real quick. Do a little Google search and we'll see if we can find it out, and I'll let you know. All right, so this looks like a small shotgun mic by Rode. Yeah, I see no reason why this wouldn't work. And as long as it has a TRS connection, which I believe it comes with, let's see. Yep. Yeah, you would want to use the TRS connection, not the TRRS connection, but yeah, you can absolutely use that mic. Cool. Thanks for that. All right. Oh, it says requires power. Hold on a second. If this requires power, then the Mevo does not use power from the 3.5 input. So if it needs power, a lot of times though, these are battery operated, battery free. Nope, no external power source required. So you should be good. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look further into that and try it out maybe. But if it definitely needs power from the camera, then no, it will not work. Okay, John says, so you're touching the tablet mute button, although there would be feedback loop. What is it for? Well, let's look at it. Oh, let me straighten this out a little bit. Let me get rid of this graphic here. So this button right here, if you haven't noticed, I'm actually wearing a Bluetooth headset, right? So this Bluetooth headset is connected to my tablet. So what I can do is I can monitor my audio. So if I click this button here, now I'm hearing what's coming out of my audio in my Bluetooth headphones coming directly from the tablet. So I can make sure that my audio is coming through good. If I'm switching sources, I can double check them. But I want it off right now. And the reason why I want it off right now is because I don't like speaking over myself, because there is a bit of a delay. So I'll hear myself and then I'll just get it all jumbled. So I usually, when I'm performing, let's say, or speaking, I'll keep it off and I just turn it on and off just to check. Now, if you don't have Bluetooth headphones or any type of headphones connected to your controlling device, it'll use the device speakers. That's what can cause a feedback loop, right? So if I didn't have these headphones on, the speakers would be blaring out. They'd go right back into this microphone, and then boom, there's your loop. So if you are monitoring audio, use headphones. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so it is 2:52. We are winding down. All right. Input bitrate. Can I explain input bitrate? Not really. So the input bitrate is the bitrate at which it's pushing the input of the video. So if you're at 1080 and you're at 12 megabytes per second, right, you're inputting your video 12 megabytes per second for that 1080 feed. So if you're using a lower resolution, for example, 720, right, that's half, well, not half the size, but I think it's like a quarter of the size, or it's 2/3 of 1080. I don't remember. But you're depending on your resolution size will depend on your input bit rate. So there's a correlation there. All right. Let's just a couple more stragglers. We're going to wind this up real soon. Is Wi-Fi as reliable as Ethernet? Is the question on YouTube. Generally, it could be. But, I mean, if you have the option for an Ethernet connection, it's just unquestionably better because it's a hardwired connection. Could you do this on Wi-Fi? Absolutely. This is actually a great point. I'm actually connecting this camera here. This camera here are actually connected to Ethernet. The camera that's looking over my tablet here is actually going through Wi-Fi, and my tablet is actually sending the feed via Wi-Fi as well. So I'm using a combination of both. But yeah, Ethernet is always the way to go. Okay, Fred put a ticket in. Great. Love the Bluetooth monitor approach. Awesome. Thanks, John. And it goes off, so would it be better to connect? Yeah, same question from King Cyrus Show. Is it better to connect through Ethernet? Yes, it's always better to connect through Ethernet. For sure. Oh, they're coming in a couple of last ones. We're going to wind it down. We're going to take it all the way to 3 o'clock here. I'm just going to throw this out there. Hope you all don't mind. If you want to check out, oh, okay, never mind. So promoting this podcast, promote it. Who cares? How fast is the NDI stream compared to with other NDI systems? Again, James, I don't really know what you mean by here as far as like the latency, because it's next to none, really. are you talking about like the input? So if you're using normal NDI mode, you can do 15 megabytes per second. If you're using HEVC, you can do 7.5 megabytes per second, but you're looking at half the bit rate, but the same quality. So if you're using HEVC, there's a difference there. So this question can kind of get unpacked a little bit more, for sure. Okay, assuming wired connection, how many frames late is it? It depends on your system. I mean, I can't really tell you that. But you shouldn't see any latency, really. Okay, looks like that winds it up for questions. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Before I leave, of course, let's mention a couple of things that we mentioned already. We have the refer a friend, mevo.com/referral, or mevo.com/refer. And again, this is where you can create your own custom code, and then you can earn. You can give that code to your friends and family, and they can save 5% on their purchase. You can earn a 5% commission back on your end as well. Of course, we have our shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, Ask Mevo Anything. Thursdays, Mevo Live, 2 p.m. Eastern. Right here it says YouTube, but we're actually on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So at Mevo Camera on all the social medias. And of course, if you're looking to get the Mevo Start 3-pack, it's a great time to get it. It is on sale at Mevo.com. And it's also available at our resellers like Amazon, B&H, Best Buy, wherever Mevos are sold. Cool. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for participating in today's chat. We're going to be going through them, getting ready for the giveaway on Thursday. So please tune in to the Thursday show if you want to participate some more. I'm Joseph Pisani. I'm a technical specialist here at Mevo, and I will see you next time.